Welcome back to the cookout. This is episode number 2. Got your boy Dom here. Got your boy Alex. We gonna jump right into it, man. How you feeling? We back at it. We not going now. What's your thoughts, man?
And my thoughts is, we touched on it about like just being nervous last week, and we were just talking about ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
I think just going into, man, just like just being confident in who we are. Like we talked about, like, man, we talked about, like, man, what gave us some type of credentials and like what we felt like it was important to be in this space, man. So like, I shared because I kind of been keeping it close to the vest, bro, really, to be honest with you, besides me and my wife, stuff like that. And so sharing it with a few friends, the past couple of days after we shot our episode and got telling them, man, what the podcast is about, and like people saying like it's gonna be dope, and so like it felt good, man. So I'm excited about continuing this journey, man. I know it's only the beginning, so
absolutely.
So excited, man. What about you, man? Like, you know what I'm saying, expectations, man, versus reality, and like how you feeling?
I think it's kind of like that, from being, both people that play sports. It's kind of like, man, you got them pregame jitters, and then now it's like, okay, man, I'm all right, man. I'm in here. All right. Hit a few shots.
Yeah.
I'm feeling good. Yeah. So I think, man, just from when we talked about it, man, and just understanding like where we feel like our lane is at and how we can come in and impact. Like, I never doubted that.
Yeah.
I think it's, to your point, is how will people receive those things?
Yeah, that we say.
And like you said, just sharing it with people and hearing like, okay, yeah, we can use something like that. Like that could be good type of thing. Like it gives you that little boost of, okay, we right on time with it, man. So I feel good. I feel like we gon' have some fun with it, and we gon' we gonna make an impact with it, both with the culture and I think just really trying to spread, around the messages that we're trying to do it in a way that people can really engage with us, man. So I feel like that's what it's really about, man. So what we talking about today?
Man, hold on. Before we get
all right,
man, you mentioned we're sports guys.
Yeah.
March Madness going on.
March
games
Madness,
last night. Did you watch any of them?
I did, man. I got to catch the end of that UConn. Just, man,
I'm finna say, wait,
God,
it was over long.
Yeah,
long before it ended. Yeah.
I think I got in because we had basketball practice last night. Yeah. So I got in and it was halftime. So it was still fairly close.
Yeah.
And then, routine, getting the kids, situated and all of that. And then by the time I probably popped it back on, man, they bust that thing wide open.
Yeah,
man.
About 30 piece. 30 piece.
I know, like Sweet 16.
30 piece, yeah.
Then I watched it. My wife went to Illinois, so, we watched that one, man. And that was a good one, too, man. Yeah. That Shannon kid.
Yeah, he got another gear, bro.
Man.
I wish he worked on his shot a little more, but like, he can get to the paint whenever
he can, man. Man. He know how to use that for sure. So, and the way that it's funny too, like the way that the game has changed so much. Like you got to be like somewhat efficient, shooting wise, to even stay on the floor. You know what I'm saying?
If you're not a star, for sure.
Yeah, if you're not a star, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, and it's funny because I watch like. I know you understand how it is coaching kids and the egos and stuff like that. And I watched the clip, and it's probably maybe like 2 years old. Brad Beal was having a conversation with his AAU team. Yeah. He was like, man, like really when you look at the NBA, it's only like maybe 20 plus like top bucket getters. Yeah. Like people that's like, hey, like we running ISO, we getting you the ball, like you the guy, everything running through you, and everyone else plays a role. And it's not to like diminish what you do. It's like, hey, you shoot, or hey, you come off the bench and you just got the green light, or you rebound. Like you got to be able to like understand what your role is and refine that, man. Because you looking around, like everybody was in the league was McDonald's All-American, 4 or 5 stars, with the exception of some stories. You know what I'm saying? Everybody else was that guy. You know what I'm saying? So when you get to that, rate, you got to be able to understand what works for you and really just be like, hey, I can make 100, like mil off of that, 150 mil.
To play defense. Just go
playing defense
and get 8 boards a game. Like, that's all they ask you to do.
Come on, man. Like, you gotta let that ego go.
Yeah. Man, I ain't gotta shoot.
100 million?
Look,
Come on, man.
Hey. I'll be Tristan Thompson.
Easily,
you go be Brown. I'll be Tristan Thompson.
Easily, man. I'll easily take that paycheck, man. Yeah. So, man, UConn, I mean, who you think UConn gonna take it? Or
man, you know what's
dark horse out there?
Before the tournament started, man, I had said, man, it's so tough to go back to back.
Yeah.
But like they just look so dominant and look like they have a complete team.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, like you saw Arizona go down last night. You saw UNC go down last night. And you know, Love having an off game for Arizona and Davis having an off game for UNC. Just kind of, you know, did it in, man. But I'm more and more, man. I'm looking like UConn might do it. I don't know. We'll see, man. I like how NC State playing, man. What they 7 game win straight?
Yeah.
Trying to see tonight. Do they stay hot?
Yeah, man.
So yeah, man. I love March Madness, man. Probably the best time.
It is.
Other like NBA Finals and stuff is cool, man. I love baseball, but like that March Madness where
it was opening day yesterday for baseball, wasn't it? That's what I thought I saw. Or it's close by.
It's close. Yeah. It's not here yet. It's right around the corner.
Okay.
Yeah. But man, let's get into it, man. I know. Look, by the way, we gonna talk a little culture, a little sports.
You got to shake it up.
Yeah, we're gonna shake it up a little bit. But we wanna today, man. We want to kind of reflect on what was dinner time like growing up in your household, and also too, like how did your experience growing up? And we both got kids now, man. Like how was dinner time back when you were growing up different than now? Yeah.
Whew. Man, dinner time for us was probably not super unique from a lot of black experience. It was 4 of us growing up. We weren't a family that was well off, so it was one of those things. I can never recall not having meals when we needed them. You know what I'm saying? But for us, I would say our culture, which is different from a lot now, was for a good period of time. There's kind of from the oldest, with my sister being the oldest to the youngest. There's about an 8 to 9 year age gap.
Okay.
But for the most part, you sitting down, you're eating what was made. Whatever was made that day. So it wasn't like, if you kind of flip back like to today with my kids, it's like you asking, which was it wasn't even. So yeah, bro, that was not even my thing. Like it's like, again, like based off of how I came up, it was like, man, I'm not asking you what you want to eat. Like, this was for dinner. You gonna eat it. And it was like, if you don't eat it, then you just got to go to bed. Like, you gonna go to bed hungry. But it wasn't like, oh, I want Chick-fil-A and someone else is like, I want Taco Bell, or I want, like, it was like, no, this is what we eating. And everybody's eating it type of thing. So that was kind of the first big thing, for us. I would say, I think we were a little bit different in some ways from what I saw growing up with maybe other households. Because my mom was really kind of probably ahead of the curve in terms of the things that she put on the table for us. So we did have certain things, like there were times, and the running joke is like, these were things that were in the house because my dad, not necessarily my mom. So we had, ramen in there at times. We had Kool-Aid. Like, we had a lot of the certain things. But there were things that, as I grew up and talked to others, it's like, man, my experience was a little bit different. Like, she would get, like, whole wheat bread and with, whole grains.
Okay.
Like, she would, one of the craziest things for me was, like, avocados. Like, as I got older and would be around, other people like us, it'd be like, man, I don't know about no guacamole. What is that? So
that's funny, man. I hate to cut you off.
No, you good.
Like my my youngest man, Maverick, his first food that he tasted was avocado. Like, it was just, we slicing up avocado for him, man, and he trying it, man, and he'll still turn avocado guacamole to this day. Well, yeah, man, we'll go, but yeah.
And so I feel like that was really a part of the experience, and I think it really influenced how I thought about food growing up.
Yeah.
Specifically kind of having my options expanded as well.
Yeah.
So I think back then for us, a big thing, like fast food was a treat, man. Like that was like, and if you got McDonald's back in the day, man, like that was it right there. You was feeling good.
Man, I really remember just, you'll ask like, hey, can I get McDonald's? Can I get Burger King? My dad, we got McDonald's at the house.
At the crib, right?
We got Burger King at the house. So like, no, we don't. But that's what they essentially saying. Exactly. We got food at the house.
We got them groceries.
Yeah, we already spent money on this grocery bill. We not finna at all.
Right.
Eating out, man. But yeah, I definitely it was more of a treat for us too.
Absolutely,
per se.
Man. You wasn't getting that every night.
No. Now,
man, how often would you say you got some now to eat fast food?
If I had to average it out, man, probably once a week, maybe even once every week and a half. Now, man, I know there was a time, bro, where especially when the Whoppers was $1.
Ooh,
you know what I'm saying? When the Whoppers was $1.
Yeah, funny.
You know what I'm saying? My dad, man, he's for the most part, I like to say, man, he's frugal. You know, I tell people all the time, man, you don't know what my dad got. $5, $500, $50,000, like just how he operates with things. Like some stuff you're complaining about, like I want to add cheese. I know we got cheese, like
man,
cut that cheese, bro. Let's see it. Wait,
man, I need that cheese to be melted on the burger.
Yeah, I want to go
eat it. I don't want to go to the crib and the burger cold. Like, man, that's the whole vibe of it.
Yeah, but then like you just something else to just drop it. They'd be like, to just drop a bag. You'd be like, if you had it to do this, why you complaining about my 40 cents for a piece of cheese, bro?
I just want to slice cheese, man. Melted cheese.
Yeah, so like, but yeah, no, we ate at home a lot, man. Did you have any favorite meals or like meals that you didn't like that your mom cooked? But like you said, we had to
eat. Buddy, I got a good story. Yes, sir.
Give me some. Yeah.
But now my mom could throw down, man. Yeah. So it was, and she was very, she helped expand our taste palette outside of just, I would say, the African-American staples.
Okay.
And I feel like most people are used to in an African-American household. So I think that really helped me, and especially, as I got older, being willing to try a lot of different things. Yeah. Now, for me, I vividly remember a situation where it was like, man, you got to eat this food. Yeah. You got to eat this food that's on the table. And I wasn't feeling it. Like, I hate peas to this day.
Okay.
I ain't eating no peas, man.
I love black-eyed peas, man.
I mean, I'm talking about them green peas.
Okay.
I'm talking about them specifically, bro. I don't like those peas, okay?
Yeah.
Straight up, man. Yeah. You cooking me something? If it's some peas, we gonna have some problems. Yeah. So then that night, it was like, hey, you gotta eat. And I think that culture was very much like, try everything. You know what I'm saying? Like, you need to try it before you say you don't like it.
Yeah.
And I was just adamant, like, man, I wasn't feeling that. I wasn't trying to have them peas. And my pops, like, anybody who knows my pops is like, to me, like, he's a man's man. Yeah. Like, the way they grew up in that generation, former Marine, like, just very, like strict.
Yeah,
hey, you know what I'm saying? So he was, I'm like, man, I don't want to eat these peas. Yeah. And he's like, you're going to eat them peas.
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, I'm trying to get out of it. I'm crying. I'm boo-hooing. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, man, I'm not trying to eat the peas. And, we at the table, and he's like, you ain't getting up from this table till you eat them peas. Yeah. And I'm just like, I'm trying to stall. I'm like trying to do everything.
Like, man, I know, like, he get close to the bedtime, bro. He gonna
I'm
be
trying to pull every trick out of the bag to not eat these peas.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to remember if he threatened me with that belt or not.
Yeah.
But for some reason, I was just like, man, I just got to go ahead and just get this over with, man. So I have a little bit of the peas, and I probably was being a little over dramatic with it too. So I'm eating and I'm like squirming like, and then I don't think I even made it to the bathroom. I pretty much just like spit them out like halfway, like threw them up as soon as I ate them.
Yeah.
And then like that was really the end of the situation. Like he was like I'm crying and everything, and that was a big like I was maybe somewhere 6, 7, if that, man. But I was adamant that I didn't want to try that, man. That I wasn't feeling having no peace.
Yeah. Man, we had to eat. So as I reflect, man, because I know what we're gonna be talking about in this episode, like as I reflect, like what was eating like growing up, man, I equated it to family time, man, because like although like we had ate dinner, like, and I think I touched on like I got siblings, but all of them went in the household. So really just in the household is my next to oldest sister. Okay. And then when my little sister came along, when I was like about a 10, so it was just kind of us for the most part in the house all the time. My dad worked at a paper mill, man, so he worked different shifts. So depending on what shift he was working, he might be at the table with us or not. But when he was, man, like you said, like he's a beans, chicken, pork chop type guy, man. But he loved Great Northern beans, bro.
Man, so I got go ahead, boy.
And I'm like,
go ahead with
it. To hate
eating
that bread, and like you said, man, you had to eat what was on your plate.
Yes, sir.
And another thing that I think about is like, I didn't fix my plate. You fixed my plate.
Right. I didn't ask for that.
I didn't ask for all of this food.
Yeah.
And now you said I can't get up from the table until I eat it. Yeah. And I definitely know like there was some tears shed eating like pinto beans and Great Northern beans like growing up. Now today, bro, I'll smash them. Yeah. Like I'll eat them. Then that's you talking about like how your taste palette evolved and things that
absolutely
you didn't eat as a kid that you eat now, even foods you weren't even introduced to as a kid. Like I didn't know what no Brussels sprouts were growing up. Did you? Like I know you said you had Brussels sprouts, asparagus.
No.
I didn't know about that. I didn't know about any of those foods, man, that I eat today, and I love them. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? But then also too, we would also eat a lot, man, in my mom's house. My granny and my pawpaw house as well. And like that's why I said like I equated to family, because my granny would be like, "Oh, I'm cooking this tonight," and so like my mom, her sisters, and my cousins, man, we'll go over, we'll eat, and bro, when I say like we were country, we ate squirrel.
Oh, dang,
rabbit,
that squirrel.
Yeah, and then she used to make this goulash. We called it goulash.
Yeah, I heard goulash.
Yeah, we had like okra and like different like tomatoes. Then we'll put it over dirty rice. And then on the weekends a lot too, man. I would go to my grandma's, my dad's mom. Yeah. And I remember we would have fish fries and like do hamburgers. To this day, bro, I still feel like my grandma made the best homemade hamburger in the world, bro. And then
number one spot.
Yeah, and I can't remember, man, at what age I was at to introduced to like sauteed onions on the burger too. Like I can chop some onions up and throw it in this grease, and I was like, oh, they took my burger to another level. You know what I'm saying? And so I just equated food with family because but the unhealthy piece of it is kind of when we circle back to the you had to eat what was on your plate. Right. And it was almost like our parents kind of grew up, they might have grew up a little more in poverty than we did. Like, and it might have been more so my dad than my mom. He had that mindset of like, we ain't wasting no food. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, till this day, you still hear some people say like, and sometimes I catch myself saying it, but like over the meeting, like, there's kids starving in Africa and other countries. Like, they don't, and I'm like, as a kid, like, I don't know them people. Like, you know, like, bless them. Like, I hope, people donate, man, to all those funds and stuff like that. But like, what they got to do with, an 8-year-old can relate to that comment. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But, you're eating almost like for survival. It was like, well, we're not we're not that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I do understand there's are people who are in those economic situations to where that's why their mindset is like, I don't know when I'm gonna get my next meal. So let me eat as much as possible. And like one thing, man, that I learned that like as a health coach, man, is you're not supposed to eat to feel stuffed or full. You're supposed to eat for energy. You know what I'm saying? And just realizing, man, really, you know what I'm saying, getting in tune with what you eat and how it make you feel. You know what I mean? And like creating almost like a fullness scale or hunger scale. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you've been in a grocery before, maybe you've been in a grocery store before, man, where you starving. And so you putting stuff in the basket that you
don't even recognize
that you don't want to eat. Yeah, you putting it in there. And so like I equate that to, man, like understanding like your hunger level and being like, so say scale of 1 to 10, man, when you start getting to like a 2 or a 3, where it's like I'm starting to feel a little hungry, is 1, and 10 is all the way like, man, I'm about to eat my hand off. Yeah. So when you start getting to like 2 or 3, you need to start planning like when I'm gonna eat. You know what I'm saying? Because that's going to help you make better decisions in picking your food. But it also too, on the flip side of that, when I said creating a scale of fullness, understanding like 1 might be like, I'm still hungry. You know what I'm saying? Or 10 is like I'm stuffed and I got the itis. Your sweet spot, man, you want to be as like a 7 or an 8, where you ate enough to where I got energy. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like I put enough nutrients in me, man, to like I can get up and I can still go, versus, man, I need to get this couch, take a nap, or you know what I'm saying? Like you hit the heavy lunch, something. Like I know when I go to Wingstop, bro, I try to be disciplined. Yeah. But I be smashing the wings and the fries, and I go back to work.
The wings be in, they come out that grease with that sauce on it.
So unproductive, just because I'm so full.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I mean? And so today, man, like I don't try to force my kids to eat. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, I even try to teach my oldest, like, hey, man, you can always get a little bit, and you eat that, and you don't feel full. Yeah. Get some more instead of piling it on, and then like I don't need this. Now you gotta throw it away because I can't put this back up for leftovers because you don't play it in it.
They used to say your eyes was bigger than your stomach.
Yeah. And so I try to get them to understand that concept too, man, of like eating, and I'm still guilty too, bro. Like I eat when I'm bored. You know what I'm saying? Like also too, like understanding your emotions and your relationship with food. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, oh man, today was awful at work, bro. I'm finna smash some food. I'm sad, you know what I'm saying? Like, so then you grabbing comfort food like sweets and cakes, and that's not good either. But also too, we happy. Hey, well, I just got a promotion. Hey, you trying to go out to eat? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Absolutely. Let's go celebrate. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So
let me ask you something on that. Where do you feel, you talked a little bit about that piece in terms of like the emotional eating, you know, celebratory. And I think it has a whole scale. There's you can find any type of thing. Where do you kind of drop accountability in those types of conversations? Because I think as I look out, and I think there's fascinating conversations to think about, and a lot of people are pointing fingers at the food industries and at, you know, these places, but it's like, hey, they didn't force you to eat that. They didn't force you to drive there and get that food. Like, how do we balance some of those things versus saying like, hey, how do we become more accountable with that relationship with food?
Knowing yourself, man. Because you know what I mean? Like, there's so many diets out there. Like, you know what I mean? And like, it's like, but it's like, what works for you? Forget a diet. Forget a diet. Like, it's about balance. Yeah. That's what it's really about. Balance, man. You know what I mean? Like today, man, I'm going home and I already know. So, man, fish spot at the crib, man, I always go. And typically, man, like I get a full plate. Yeah. A catfish fillet.
Yes, sir.
Full plate with the sauerkraut.
I already like that order. Yeah. I was liking that order.
And it's like, I don't need a full plate.
Fair enough. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Let me get a half order.
Straight up.
You know what I mean? I still can enjoy my catfish, man, but I don't have to eat 5 pieces. You know what I'm saying? Like, let me eat too and enjoy it. You know what I'm saying? And still feel good about, like, man, I had this catfish and it was fire versus I done forced myself to eat extra 2 pieces, so now I'm stuffed.
Wobbling around.
Yeah, and the experience is not as good because now I feel you we've all eaten before you straight up. Yeah. You got a bucket of powder.
You got a bucket of little like,
I can't even breathe in the room. Yeah, because I done stuffed myself. So it's really about balance, man, and like, what are your goals? You know what I'm saying? Like, and then, you know, like, we'll probably get in it down the road about just understanding, like, macros and micros and weight and, like, what's the percent of protein and carbs and, like, what's the healthy fat. You know what I'm saying? Like, understanding
good stuff.
Food. And I think, like, what's so dope, man, you being a food scientist and an African-American, we don't have that knowledge, that information, understanding like how to read a nutrition facts.
It is. It's big just because when you start to think about, we talked about in the intro, this influence state, and so what you have a lot of people is they're finger pointing and saying, hey, they're putting this, that, and the other in there, and sometimes it lacks context in terms of, okay, what was the study, what was the substrate that they did it on? Meaning, hey, were they doing this on rats, which have a much smaller body size compared to human? How much of that did they, give that rat over how much time? Like, what's the recommended daily, the RDI, the recommended daily intake of that specific thing? Like, all of those contextual clues matter when someone says, oh, sugar is linked to whatever. Sugar's linked to, okay, obviously diabetes. That's a easy correlation to make. But when they start talking about, okay, well, high fructose corn syrup has been, linked to cancer. Okay, well, let's break down what the research was that you went and looked at and understand all those different pieces, because it may say they may gave that substrate a way higher amount than what the recommended daily intake is, or what someone would ever really consume. But if you just come out and say, which is like, if you think about how newspapers, which is, probably outdated, but if you think about how media headlines go, and they say it's clickbait. So if you break that word down, you use bait to catch something. You put the bait out there to catch the fish. So they use that bait to catch the eyes of the readers to click on that and say, okay, I want to read that. And a lot of times it's not the substance that's in there that can help you explain, okay, hey, this is really what's going on, or hey, this is not what the headline is what I thought it would be, man. And so I think that is a big piece of that conversation is, again, I'm not here to make anyone pick a side.
No.
I enjoy going and getting that Wingstop with that ranch. And I'm going to have that cheese sauce with my fries as well.
Oh, hold on. I didn't realize, bro, that the cheese sauce was popular.
Bro, we went one time. I think you was kind of eyeballing me a little bit. And I would have let you have some, man. But that's my go-to.
Yeah, and I got another homeboy, man. When he got it, I was like, he was looking at him. He was like, bro, you never had this before? And I was like, no, man. I never had no cheese sauce with this. He was like, I think like we had went like 2 times. I still was like, nah, bro, I'm good. I would keep dipping mine in this ranch. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is what I've been doing. But then when I tried it, I was like, oh, this hit.
Yeah.
Oh, this hit.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. So I don't know if y'all know about the cheese sauce with the fries at Wingstop.
Check it out, man.
Ain't the healthiest, but it's
hey,
what we say, balance,
man. That's we said we was gonna be real about it. So I enjoy having me a good, fish fry as well. But it's like I was telling my wife, I was traveling for work, and I think what this has really helped me, especially as I, get a little bit more deeper in the research and kind of knocking off the rust around that, it's helped me be more conscious about the things that I'm doing. So usually when I go to Dallas airport, I gotta have Shake Shack. Like my order is it's ignorant. It's straight up ignorant, man. Like I gotta get the Double Shack, and then I want to get the chicken sandwich with the fries.
Yeah.
Now, in my mind, I rationalize it as like, man, we ain't got Shake Shack at the crib, so this is my time to indulge and just really spread my wings. But I was like, man, you know, like, man, I think I'm going to go and get me a salad.
Yeah.
Went, got me a salad. Yeah. Next day, I got me a salad. And then later on my flight back, I was like, okay, I'm going to get me a burger this time. And I felt to me, and I feel like I've experienced this before when I've done lifestyle, you know, food lifestyle changes or diets, like, when I treat myself with that, I feel like it tastes so much better.
Yeah.
Because I've had that discipline and like, hey, I'm going to do this and really, you know, hunker down and follow this path. Yeah. But then, hey, when Friday come or Saturday come, like, man, when I can get a hold of whatever it is that I'm really craving, I just felt like I enjoyed that much more, man. So I think that's a big piece of it. I think what you talked a little bit about is food trauma growing up, right?
Yeah.
It's trauma growing up because it's like, so I like to eat now. So it ain't even a thing of me. I think it's.
But you get to choose what you want now. You're an adult.
Right,
so you know
and you've been around me before. Like, I remember one of the first times we started traveling for work, you like, man, put this food away. So it's irregular for me not to finish my food.
Yeah.
I think more people look at me like, you not feeling good or something?
Yeah.
But I think the biggest thing about it, like you said, is understanding that, and I think really breaking this cycle in our community is we have this cycle of, well, that's what my parents did. That's what my grandparents did. So this is the way we gonna do it.
Yeah.
And there's no kind of evolution in our mindset to say like, hey, was that even the right thing? Because what you tied it to was true. A lot of our families were impoverished. Yeah. And so you weren't going to waste no food because you didn't know what that next meal was going to look like.
Yeah.
You had to savor every bit of that. Yeah. And so a lot of times that trauma, you know, follows us fast forward to these days. So I think it's the same thing. And we've had a little bit of like, I don't want to say friction in our household, because me and the wife are on the same page. But when other people come in, when you got them family members that come in, it's like, boy, why all that food on your plate? Where you going to the trash can? And it's like, hey, wait a minute, like, this my household. Like, that's not what we not doing those same types of things. First of all, I'm paying for the food. So if I don't got a problem with something going in the trash, should nobody have a problem with what's going on in the trash? Except for me and the person that's paying for that food. And so I think, like, you have those things where you got some people that are still in those mindsets of like, hey, you need to do this or you need to do that. Now, there is a line to draw
for sure.
if I see consistent behavior. So, hey, you piling your plate up, but you never finish your food. Yeah. It's like, okay, we need to, you know, kind of chill off of that. And it's like, to your point, like, hey, you can get this, and then you can always kind of go back if you want more. Yeah. But just getting food and being wasteful for it, just flat out, hey, I can't support that. But a lot of those things, in a lot of different areas, but especially with food, I've been very cognizant to not have that whole thing around like, oh, did you make a happy plate? Or, you know, because you never know what's going on.
Yeah, your plate might be happy, but your body not.
Right. Your body screaming at you like, what's wrong with you, man?
Yeah, why you do this to us? Yeah.
Yeah, and I think the other, you know, big piece in terms of like what I try to do with what I feel like has helped me is expanding my kids and what they like to eat. Now, they're still typical like, hey, they want to tear down on some Chick-fil-A chicken nuggets and pizza, but I will say there's a lot of things that they eat that when we're out with other parents and people that are like, man, they'll eat salmon, or man, they'll eat this. And it's like, they enjoy it. And really being able to provide that to them is like, hey, there's so much more out here than just this. So that when they go and they have their own family and they're able to explore the world, you're not somewhere, you know, in Spain or whatever, you talking about, man, can I get some pizza? They looking at you like, because you're not really enjoying that culture and learning that culture. If you're going over there and you asking to get some McDonald's, you know, over and right, like this is crazy, man. So
yeah, man, it's man, my kids, I feel like got expensive taste. Man,
you know they do. Man, you know what it is.
My oldest, bro, he been eating crab legs and asking for Red Lobster since he was probably
Y'all them crab legs, boy.
Man,
he must still wall it down.
He's still to this day, man, a smash. An easy 2 pounds by himself, plus like shrimp and other stuff.
Stop playing with
me. Man, I remember we went to Seattle. Probably Mav might have been 4 months at the time, 5 months at the time. And we went to the seafood spot and
come in.
We ordered
we'll get it in.
We ordered him his own 2 pounds, and me and my wife got ours, and the guy was like, "Hey, that's a lot of like crab legs. You think?" I said, "I promise you."
He gonna put them away.
Matter of fact, if I find a picture, I might put it on our social media. Crab leg just piled, and he smashed, and like he'll like, yeah, like me and my wife might split 2.5 between us.
Right.
He eating at least two by himself, at least 2 bare minimum, man. Like, so when we go, so when I make him, man, like he get his own bag at least. Like 1 bag is specifically for him. Yeah, man. And then my youngest, man, he loves steak, bro.
Dang.
He'll put away steak.
Really?
Oh my gosh. Yeah. I fixed steak last week during spring break, and he might have ate 3/4 of the steak himself. Like it was just me, my wife, my oldest, and Mav, and we like ribeyes in New York strip. So I had got 3 ribeyes.
Yeah.
Wasn't no steak left.
Man.
Wasn't no steak left. And the ribeyes weren't small either, man.
So how do you guys? Because I also think like the way that we approach eating is a lot different. I know you and I have a lot of conversations around sports. We have kids who play sports. Yeah. We coach, you know what I'm saying? So I think that influences what dinner time and all of that looks like. Like, how do you talked about like back then, like eating out was a treat. Yeah. Like, where are you guys at on that eating out scale now with the kids with everything that's involved in your day to day?
It depends on how we planned.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like,
that's a key word.
Yeah, how we play. Like, I try to help my wife now. Like, she was like, I don't mind cooking.
Okay.
But like, I don't want to have to like think about what I'm gonna cook, do the grocery list, and cook. Yeah. Like if you can toss out, hey, Monday let's eat this, Tuesday let's eat this, Wednesday let's eat this. Boom, I can make a list, and then I'll be already mentally prepared to kind of like knowing like how much time it's going to take me to do that, or looking at our schedules like, man, do I need to cook earlier in the day, and we just kind of warm it up. Hell, I already have it done, you know what I'm saying? So it's about balance, man, and just understanding those schedules. And what's funny is though, like, we have all these conveniences these days and don't even feel like we still don't have enough time. Yeah. Like you got the pre-cooked meals that you can just toss in the oven or the delivery. You know what I'm saying? Like you can just have like all those there's so many different like Factor or all those like
you just gotta pop them in. Yeah, because I know we got a few places around here that do
meal prep. Yeah. And so, man, I think it's just understanding your schedule, man, and helping. Like my wife cooks, like she does 90 to 95% of the cooking, man. But it's a balance because I do 90 to 95% of the laundry.
Okay.
And so, like, so it's like I with that in my house, like I always do the laundry. She hates laundry. Like she don't mind cooking as long as she gets some help with like, man, what that meat look like. But when we go fast food, my son loves Slims. Slim chicken, man. Yeah. So like so it's a balance. The oldest like Slims and Wingstop, and the more expensive. Mav would be cool, man, with McDonald's. You know what I'm saying? He just want the cheeseburger, man. So it's a little bit of balance. Man, one of my and it's not fast food, but like me and my wife, probably one of our favorite like fast food things to eat, man, is tzatziki's.
Tzatziki's,
That Mediterranean salad with the salmon. So expensive, but so good.
I haven't had tzatziki's in a while, man. Where our area where we're from, like, we had like the Mediterranean, like Greek, but it was more like gyros. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, it wasn't like all the other things that are part of that food culture that kind of came with it, man. So I remember when we first came down almost like 7 years ago, I was like, man, where the gyro spot at, man? Yeah. Like, I need that. And I was just like looking for some, and it just wasn't really hitting. Now there's maybe a few in Fayetteville that's There's one in Fayetteville that I went to sometime last year that actually was pretty good. Yeah. I'm just not in that, area quite a bit, but yeah, it's I think it's similar. I've tried to get a little bit better with the fast food stuff, because it's like, man, especially when you got them late practices, and then the kids, like, they get in the car, they're like, what we eating for dinner? And you haven't already, like, done anything. It's like, man, I've been working, I've been coaching, like, I ain't about to make nothing, like, we just gonna hit this. And I think it kind of goes back to a little bit of that, like, that accountability piece. And it goes back to something that I truly believe is, like, you make time for the things that are important to you. Yeah, for sure. Right? So if your health, your body is important to you, you're going to carve out, like, okay, 15, 20 minutes to come up with, meal planning. And, nowadays we do so much, like, grocery delivery. Yeah. You got that and you got pickup. It's like, man, you really don't have to be in the store if you don't want to be. Like, to me, there's a lot around just better decision making. Yeah. I think that can take place. And I think it's sometimes around, like, I will take the approach of understanding the resources that are available to you. Because there truly are some people that don't know all of these resources. And I think that's something that we can be able to provide and with our voices. Say, hey, there's so many things available that maybe these people don't know about that they can take advantage of. Because I think with everything we talked about, and we'll break it down in an episode in terms of, like, just the history of the food culture and African American just food history. But what happened was stemmed from that culture of eat everything on your plate was overeating. Yeah. People really were overeating because when you look at what was on the plates, a lot of times it was too much. Yeah. And then when you get into these places, what happened with the big boom across, fast food and sit down places is it became a value game, right? So if you own a wing place and I own a wing place, but we both have the same price, you may say, well, I want to put one more wing in mine, because you can say an advertisement like, at Dom's we give you one more wing, but we the same spot. So then in our minds we're like, okay, we're caught in the middle of that as consumers.
Trying to make the dollar strip.
Right, because we're like, oh, I can get another wing for the same price as that. Yeah. They're battling for our dollars. Meanwhile, our waistlines are suffering because they're saying, okay, we're going to charge you this, but we're going to give you more food. Yeah. And so in our minds, we're hearing, you got to eat all the food, even though, man, should nobody be having no 3-4 pieces of catfish and hush puppies and fries and coleslaw in one sitting?
Especially when you're an adult and you stop growing.
Right.
Like my son, man, bro, he had just left track practice last week, and we went to Popeyes. I was like, what you gonna get? He was like, I'm gonna get a 4-piece. Yeah. And I looked at him, I said, a 4-piece?
Yes, sir.
I said,
he said what he said.
I said, what you gonna do with a 4-piece? He said, I'm gonna eat it, Dad. I said, like what pieces of chicken you gonna get?
Right.
Like, you gonna get 4 wings? He got 2 legs and 2 thighs.
Hey, man.
He ate them with the fries. And, like, I know that's not the healthiest, but, like, he's growing. So, you know what I mean? Like, you can tell, like, and that's the difference. Me eating 4 pieces of chicken versus him eating 4. And now both, like, of course, like, it's not the healthiest, but, like, it's going to affect me even more. Cause like I said, like, I'm not finna stretch out anymore. But, like, I know we talk about, like, being able to choose, like, a Tzatziki's and a Slims, but, like, where we come from, and, like, family members that I know, they can't afford that. Like, they gotta eat McDonald's processed burgers. So, like, what do we say to that community, man, when they're talking about, like, I get what you're saying, like, I need to be healthier, but, bro, like, I can't afford to be healthier. You know what? Because I gotta keep the lights on. Man. I gotta keep the water on.
You know what, man? I'm going to push back on that a little bit.
Okay, yeah.
I'm going to push back on it a little bit, man, just because I do, having, grown up on that side of things and then now doing better enough as an adult myself to be able to, like you said, make those decisions. I think some of it is education around the options that are there. So I watch a lot of people that are like, hey, I go to this place, but this is what I get to try to make it healthier for me. So I might say, hey, I'm going to go here, but I'm not going to have all the sauces on it. I might get a Big Mac, but I'm not going to have all the sauce on it. You know what I'm saying? Or I might not have the cheese on it. Or there was a time where McDonald's had salads. And I know we kind of targeting right now.
But
it's not just from McDonald's.
But me and my wife just had this conversation last night, because yesterday or the day before, Mav wanted McDonald's, and she was like, I really feeling McDonald's, because like we trying to, make those better choices too. I said, why they take the little wraps off the menu? Remember McDonald's had a little grilled chicken.
There's this guy on social media that got this whole crusade around getting the snack wraps.
Yeah, like you know what I'm saying? Like,
sir.
That's an option, a healthier option.
Yeah, I think so. I think there's that piece, like, there's some complexities to it, right? Because it's like, if you think about this, and there's a lot of research that talks about what types of options are available for access to people in the urban communities, right? So when you look at the larger cities, and you just create a baseline of saying, like, okay, if we're gonna stereotype here for a second, and say, like, hey, this person can't really get a good transportation. So let's say around the corner they got Popeyes, McDonald's, you know what I'm saying, Taco Bell. But a Taziki's type of place might be in urban cities that could be 30 minutes away. Then there's some factors that are kind of determining, constraints that are determining kind of what they are eating, and how they're making those decisions. So I think the first piece of it is recognizing that, hey, there are some that are out there. What I will pivot to is the piece around making those choices. And, hey, some people may hate me for this. But if we gonna play into the stereotype for a minute, so we know plenty of people who got that EBT card, right? And you know some people. I know some people who got that EBT.
I had one in college.
Hey, let's keep. Hey, we had food stamps. Let's keep the buck coming up, right? So there's this whole thing that people are like, oh well, groceries are this, groceries are that. I can't feel bad for you, and I see you leaving the spot, but you got crab legs, right? You got the big crab legs, not the small ones. You got the king crab legs. You got about 5-6 boxes. You got steak. At that point, it's not a thing about, and again, this is not saying that I believe this is how all our people are, but if we're saying the stereotype, the stereotype here is that black people are poor, black people are on government aid, and black people have multiple kids, right? And you get paid more by the more kids that you have. Then it's really about giving them the proper education to make the right choices when they're in those store aisles. And there's a lot of things to think about in terms of, like, there's people that are like, oh, well, you got to do organic this, and no preservative this, and you got to do gluten-free this. Look, if it's about making a better decision, I'd rather you have lettuce in general. I don't care about it being organic lettuce.
And like you alluded to earlier, there's different nuances with those words when they say organic.
Right. Oh man. There's so much a lot of this stuff. Hey, let me just keep it real for you guys. Okay, look into my eyes. A lot of those things, as they're putting that research and stuff out, it's bait. Some of those things do mean something.
For sure.
But some of those things don't. An example I'll give you quickly is the whole gluten-free craze. Gluten-free, when you break it down, is someone that has their body cannot process celiac, which is a protein, right? You can't break that down in their body. There's nothing wrong with gluten. There ain't nothing wrong with it. But what happened was they said, hey, if people are automatically believing through a spike through this, I think what really made this big was when that whole mommy blogging wave came in. And again, we talked about trust, we talked about influence. People were like, well, I'm a mom, you're a mom. You're telling me I need to have this gluten-free thing for my kid. I'm a rock with it. not doing their own research, saying,
because how many kids did you know growing up?
we ain't know about no gluten. Come on, man. There was a search I did in Google, and there's Google data searches can show you when words like were really like heavily searched.
Yeah.
And gluten, I believe, was like not really even searched that much till maybe about 15, 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Gluten-free was something that people were searching quite a bit, which shows you that's when it really kind of hit the scene and became something that was popular.
Yeah.
So what happened with that was people saw, if people are drawn to this, we gonna slap it on there, and we gonna let people run with this whole thing of like gluten-free. And there's things of gluten typically comes from wheat products. It's typically in wheat. So why would I have gluten-free claim on meat? Yeah. Why would you add it on there? But I can put it on there because technically it's gluten-free.
Yeah.
But we go back to earlier, the context shows, it's gluten-free because there's no gluten in meat.
Yeah.
It's not in there.
Yeah.
But again, we're as I think an overarching society, not just us black people, there's no trusting but verifying, right? So it's like, man, you go to a church, man, like, I'm not just taking what the preacher says. It's like, man, show me where you got that from.
Yeah.
You can't just be up there talking about, man, hey, we need to just all be walking around, jumping on one leg and patting our head. Where say that in the Bible?
Yeah.
It don't say that. So like we don't do enough of trusting and verifying. And then we have this oh my gosh, like people are misleading us and they're lying about the things they're doing. No, you're not reading no books.
Yeah.
You're not reading no articles.
Preacher's just a teacher,
right.
Like he was a science teacher, math teacher, like he's teaching you, but like, you gotta go study yourself.
Exactly.
You gotta go pass the test yourself.
We're not doing that as a society, going back and kind of fact checking these things and saying like, and calling these companies out and saying, hey, yeah, you're putting that on there, but that don't mean anything.
Yeah.
Like, because it should be gluten-free. Yeah. So it's a lot of those things where, again, it goes back to educating our people to understanding even the things of there's this thing that, eating healthy is so expensive. Yes and no, okay? Yeah. The technology that comes with it is typically more because there's less of a demand for it. Yeah. So it's more expensive for those, harvesting techniques and all of the things that goes into creating that food supply. But again, helping people understand, if I can put, lettuce on your plate, if I can put lean protein on your plate, a chicken on your plate, if I could put a non-fatty dressing on your plate, with some grains or maybe a rice or a quinoa. You know what I'm saying? That's a meal that you can have.
Starches.
And I didn't say anything about non-GMO, gluten-free, no preservatives added. Those things all as a base is a balanced meal. But we've tricked people, or I don't even gonna say trick. People have not. People don't know when they haven't went out there to say like, hey, like I don't have to have all of those things because yes, organic's gonna run that checkup. Yeah. Yes, preservative free, chicken is gonna run that checkup. Yeah. And so the educational piece is a big piece of it. Yeah, it's a big piece.
Yeah, balanced plate, man. I think like what you kind of alluded to, man. And I think like there's what they call like magic plates, and there's a few different variations. Is where like, man, I need 1/3 of like a grain or a vegetable. I need 1/3 of healthy, 1/3 of healthy protein on the plate. Then I need 1/3 of like dense starch or a grain. And then probably I think like maybe like a teaspoon. I think like 2 to 3 teaspoons like of like healthy fat. But then like we don't know what. Yeah. What is a healthy fat?
Right. Yeah.
You know what I mean, like
I think that's a big piece again of us, as you're saying that, it's like, hey, having the expertise, maybe I use that word a little bit loosely. I'm not calling myself an expert. I got some qualifications.
Like
I know a little
something. Like that's
you know what I'm saying?
That's a healthy brain, like dense, like
absolutely. And I think this is a part of what we're trying to do. yeah, we want to have fun.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But man, I don't want all my people to be out there with the big backs, man. You know what I'm saying? Like we hey, we gonna help you, you know, in the ways that you need to be helped. Because I think again that balance of have fun, but we want to be able to make an impact in our communities. We want to be able to educate people, and we want the health issues that we're dealing with, because we gonna dive into them. I think the next one we gonna get into
because we're
obesity.
You know what I'm saying?
Like
obesity.
We gonna get into some serious things, and we gonna have some other people. You know, we gonna invite some other people to the cookout and drop their knowledge on us so that we can, you know, help shift the culture. You know, in a better way, man.
Yeah, for sure. Well, man, appreciate y'all tuning in, man. We're going to wrap up episode 2, man. Hopefully, y'all enjoyed it a little bit, learned something a little bit. Appreciate you rocking with us. You know, share our content, man. Like it, do all of that. Like, help us help you.
Hey, check it out. While you talking about content right now, we got them tags for you, all right? Everything is invitation to the number 2. The cookout, all right? That's where you can find us, engage with us, send us, you know, messages. We're gonna be putting in a question and answering, question and answer part of segment part of the podcast here soon in the next couple of episodes. So man, come rock with us, support us, man, and hey, we out of here.
See you.